What's up, y'all? This is Mike Manzer with another Manzer Faust Productions video. Today I'm going to do a quick one, just do another in my series of Stop, Watch, and Listen videos where I'm going to talk about some recent watches and a couple of music pickups I've had in the past couple of days. Uh, so, if you've been paying attention, last week I did a ton of videos talking about all the stuff I picked up during the halfway to Black Friday sale at the archive. So I wanted to dig into all that I've watched because I watched the giant pile of movies. So I picked out about 4 or 5 that I really enjoyed, and I'm going to talk about them real quick, and I'm going to talk about a couple of records I got. So, yeah. Without any further ado, let's get into it. We'll make this one quick. So, this one is pretty fresh in my mind. I watched it yesterday. I had a real good time with this one. I'm really digging it. It's definitely one that I want to go back to, try to find all the different kind of secrets within it. There's some cool Q&As that are like a half an hour each that I really want to get into on the disc as well. And that is Something in the Dirt. And this is interesting because this is done by the duo of Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who I'm not as familiar with these guys. I know that they did The Endless, and I have still not seen that. This is my first film of theirs that I've gotten into. It's also their most recent. Very, very interesting filmmaking techniques used in this. Basically, this guy is kind of a loner, little bit of a con artist kind of streak to him. Moves in the apartment above this guy. Another guy we don't really know much about in the beginning, as they communicate, more kind of secrets start to come out, and you start to realize that, both of these guys have their own kind of agendas, definitely not trustworthy at all. But what's interesting about this is basically they become friendly, trying to figure out these kind of supernatural kind of occurrences happening in their apartment. This actually kind of has a bit of a vibe of another movie that I really enjoyed that was put out by Yellow Veil called They Look Like People. They Look Like People was probably one of my favorite partner label releases because it just has this very interesting kind of hangout, like friends, shooting the shit and getting into like mischief kind of vibe, but underneath it has this real like dread and just like creeping, unsettling feeling to it. And that's what you get with this, but this actually goes even further. You have a really cool kind of like documentary being made as this is going on, and through the making of this documentary, all these different secrets and different like anxieties that these characters have start to come to the surface. And what's really kind of cool is when they made this, it was at the peak of the COVID pandemic, and when the lockdowns are going into effect. In the special features, you could see people in the masks and taking all the protocols that we're going into at the time, just staying socially distant and everything like that. And it's interesting the type of stuff they were going for in this, and the way that they do their filmmaking. Very low budget, very just get a camera, get a bunch of your friends, shoot it. It does use quite a bit of different kind of film stock and everything. There's obviously the documentary. There's like the candid, interview kind of segments. It definitely has like a lot of different. There's like stock footage happening. It goes into these kind of like a little bit like the Scary of 61st. I enjoyed this a lot more than the Scary of 61st, but it does go into those kind of conspiracy theory rabbit holes and just two guys bouncing all these random kind of occurrences off of each other and trying to figure out like what is going on in this apartment, how does it relate to their past, and what's going on. It really uses the kind of setting of Los Angeles, very interesting use of that, and it's just like a very interesting film. Like I said, I'm gonna have to dig more into this on a few more watches probably, because I just had such a ball getting into this movie. It's got a lot of cool kind of stuff happening, and you know, all the different kind of like film stock and stock footage and everything like that does kind of remind me of something of like Natural Born Killers or something like that, but it's definitely a different vibe than that kind of thing, so I don't want to paint that picture. But yeah, this is a really good independent film, really shows like what people were getting into in these kind of chamber films that they were making during the COVID lockdown, and people really working with like what is basically very little, and how they're able to make a very intriguing and very like kind of chaotic story out of it. And yeah, so I'm really interested in digging into the rest of their stuff. I got a lot to go through apparently, but yeah, this was excellent. Something in the something in the dirt. And it's cool because this is the second release from XYZ, and I really love their first release, Hypochondriac. So this is definitely a label that I'm getting more and more excited about as time goes on. Next up, this is one I know a lot of the story behind this. It's a documentary, a band I'm very much familiar with, and I talked about it in my pickups, and that is Dinosaur Jr. This is Freakscene. Very cool documentary. Does have a lot of that like cool kind of like throwback to like the 90s. You get a lot of great interviews with Thurston Moore, Kim Gordon, Henry Rollins, you know, all the kind of people that were big forces within that early kind of grunge into like, you know, well, kind of the proto into grunge kind of era, because Dinosaur Jr., or Dinosaur as they were originally known, even their Deep Wound material, which I'm also a big fan of, they kind of predate like kind of Nirvana blowing up, and then when all that happened, they kind of, you know, were successful due to a lot of that. At the point that Nirvana blew up, anybody that was on the radar of Kurt Cobain and all the Seattle guys, you know, they automatically started getting attention. You know, Butthole Surfers and stuff like that was getting huge all of a sudden. Meat Puppets. And this was definitely cool. I love the kind of like the different egos of the band members kind of bouncing off of each other, and all the different influences and the infighting and everything going on. Very cool. There's some great interview footage with all the members. I fucking love Lou Barlow and Jay Mascis, and it's just hearing them talk about their like writing process and how they like, you know, infight but play off of each other and everything. These kind of like power egos at play. Very cool. I love that kind of aesthetic in these films, and it does get into a lot of their like reunion kind of efforts, and I believe I've seen them since they've gotten back together. I'm not completely sure, but yeah, this is a great documentary, one of those great like music documentaries. You know, it's got a lot of personality to it, and that's what I like about Utopia in particular, releasing these kind of documentaries, is they all have a great personality to them, and they're not just your standard, like, this is a band documentary, we gotta go step by step and all this kind of stuff. You really dig into the, like, personalities of the people making this music, which is very appreciated, and it's very fun to watch, and yeah, you root for these guys throughout the whole film, as you should. So yeah, Freakscene, Story of Dinosaur Jr., check that out. So the next one is a double feature of two films from Romania, and I really enjoyed both films. The first one I wasn't as big on. First one being A Month in Thailand. I just kind of didn't really like the main character of this guy. He kind of got on my nerves, kind of whiny, kind of just stuck in his ways, and doesn't want to do anything to help himself at the same time. It just kind of got a little grating. Um, so I wasn't as big on that. The shorts on this are really cool. Just kind of simple, one topic, kind of just people. There's one about a guy on a boat who gets lost at sea. That was pretty good. The one I really like is the one that's on the second disc with the other movie. I forget, it's called like Come Back Monica, I think. And what was fun about that was it's the whole short film. It's about a half an hour long, but the whole film is like this woman finds out that her husband is cheating on, or not husband, boyfriend is cheating on her partner, and is just kind of at his door, just trying to get him to open the door and confront him and everything like that. So that was interesting to see the back and forth and the kind of like shit that she was going through. It was very interesting. But yeah, so what I really liked about this set was the other film, which is a lot more current. I believe it's from 2017, called Two Lottery Tickets. And this was a blast. I had a lot of fun with Two Lottery Tickets. It's basically three guys, really great personalities on these guys. One of them is like kind of a playboy kind of type, like he goes to bed with every woman that he sees and is kind of a flirt. One of them is very reluctant to get into any kind of like chaos. He's got this girlfriend who's been, you know, whisked away by some rich boss of hers to like Italy, so the guy's trying to get her back. And you got the third guy, it's this hilarious kind of like conspiracy theorist, just knows way too much about too many things and kind of drones on about things. It's very entertaining watching that character in particular. And basically, the playboy character basically convinces one of them to buy a lottery ticket, and they are supposed to split the winnings amongst each other. Well, he gets robbed in his lobby, you know, front desk area of his apartment, and they have to go and find the people that got away with his ticket, and it's just entertaining, all of the like misadventures that they get into trying to get this lottery ticket, and it's just hilarious. You just like feel so bad for them, but it's so ridiculous how badly they fuck up all the way through it, and just one goofy incident after another. It's a blast. I really had a great time with this, and I don't know much about Romanian film. I have watched a few of their Deaf Crocodile has been releasing these kind of animated films. Space Station Delta I've talked about, and yeah, but Romania I'm not as familiar with. But watching these two films, I'm really interested in digging into more. It's a very fascinating, very individual kind of culture of filmmaking that they have there. So yeah, and these stories, they're just human and they're real and they're raw, and you know, they're just going for as much authenticity as they can. So I really enjoy that part of them. It really feels sort of like a character piece, documentary kind of vibe to it. But both of them are fairly entertaining. The first one, Month in Thailand, just kind of didn't do it for me because of the main character, but I thought it was very well done. The music and everything in it is fantastic, and I was laughing at that alone quite a bit as well. But yeah, Two Lottery Tickets, fucking awesome. Next up, I'm gonna get into a couple of Vinegar Syndrome titles. This one goes way back, and I've had this on my radar for a while, and I was kind of going into it like, oh, it's kind of got a noir style kind of thing going on. It looked fascinating, but man, this snuck up on me, and I had one of the best times I've had watching a movie in a while, and this is definitely one I'm gonna have to rewatch a few times because it was just so entertaining and so engaging. The way it looks is phenomenal. It's very like sensual, but it's very intense and very like kind of confusing at points. But you know the way it all sums it up at the end of it, it gets that intrigue, and it definitely has a very good payoff to it. And yeah, that is In the Cold of the Night. This is done by how do you say his name? Nico Mastercart. Mastorakis. Yeah. He also did Island of Death, which I talk about just being the most insane, fucking off the wall movie. One of the most insane video nasties. Definitely one of the more fitting titles to end up on that list. And this was great. This has more of a sensual, like I said, kind of like a film noir kind of aspect, but it also uses a hell of a lot of kind of nightmare logic, dream logic kind of stuff. This guy, he starts having these vivid dreams of him murdering a woman, and he can identify her. It's got a very identifiable, but he doesn't know who she is, and he'll wake up and he'll be strangling whatever woman he's with. So it's kind of, he becomes obsessed with it. And when he's at the beach, he finds a guy wearing a t-shirt that is one of those airbrush kind of shirts that has a picture of this woman from his dreams on it. He goes to him, so through all these different kind of misadventures to try to find this woman, he does, and they end up having an affair, and he has to hide it from her, and it just goes into all these bizarre kind of places, all these situations. It's just so intriguing. The suspense works. The mystery is so fascinating and keeps you captivated the entire time. The filmmaking, like I said, just top tier for the type of stuff that Vinegar Syndrome puts out. And I'm so happy I was able to see this on a great HD, because it really does. The colors in this are phenomenal. Just the whole atmosphere of this movie was fucking great. It worked so well. So yeah, if you haven't dug into this one, I definitely recommend it. And yeah, In the Cold of the Night. And then this is from a couple of months ago, and finally sat down to watch it. And yeah, so I want to talk about Vacation of Terror 1 and 2. These are two Mexican films, one of them directed by Rene Cardona III, and then, what's his name? Pedro Galindo III. Both, from families of very rich history within Mexican filmmaking, and I really enjoyed number 2. Number 1 has got an interesting kind of setup. The premise is good. It's got a bunch of cabin in the woods kind of elements. It's also got a strong kind of poltergeist kind of vibe to it. You got it's focused around kind of like a doll, this demonic kind of doll character, so you can find a little bit of that like kind of Annabelle and the kind of movies you get these days from it. First one was really good, but the one I really loved was the second one. Vacation of Terror 2, also known as Diabolical Birthday. And what's cool about this is the main star of both these films, his character's name is Julio. He works in like an antique shop, and this woman comes in invites him. I forget how it goes down, but he ends up going to the birthday party of her little sister. Her dad is like a big like dealer. I think it's like some kind of dealer or some kind of like he's of money. He's got a lot of money, so he throws his youngest daughter this gigantic birthday party, and has he's a film executive, I believe. So the doll from the original ends up on one of the lots as a prop, and he ends up giving it to the youngest daughter, and hell kind of breaks loose, going after the two daughters, and basically just the most insane kind of birthday massacre you could think of. And what's really cool about this is the creature effects. It kind of turns into this giant demon you can see in the background, and it really works well. Like, this demon looks so fucking cool. Kind of reminds me a bit of, like, it's gonna sound weird, but the vegetable gremlin from Gremlins 2. I just had a lot of fun with this. I don't really have a lot to say about it, unfortunately, but I really enjoyed it. A lot of these Mexican films are kind of new to me, so I like digging into a lot of them and finding out about a bunch of this kind of stuff. And yeah, so yeah, Vacation of Terror 1 and 2. So that'll do it for the films that I've been watching. I wanted to get into a couple of recent acquisitions I got from Jay at Static Era. Always rep Static Era. They're doing amazing work out of Milford, Connecticut. I go there all the time. Love supporting them. They got a good atmosphere, good vibe. The regulars in there are awesome people. You get a lot of great conversation about like music, and you know, they always have good stuff in stock. They've been getting a lot of used stuff in that I've shown off in the past. So yeah, if you're in this area, if you're near Milford, Connecticut, definitely get out to Static Era and pick up some records. Support Jay. He's doing awesome stuff. So the two records I'm going to show are from this year, recent releases, and they're definitely both on my list of top releases of the year so far, which I'll probably end up doing a video on that in July. So more information on that coming as the month progresses. But first one is one I've been putting off picking up for a while now, but this is such a good record. I've been seeing this band quite a bit. I have friends with a few of the members, and they're just solid. And even if I didn't have the bias, this would be like definitely one of the most fun, just addicting, like exciting, catchy records of the year. And that, god damn it, that's Killer Kin, Local Heroes. Just fucking roaster of an album. This thing slaps. Like, oh man. And like, I love Killer Kin. They got, so for those of you who aren't around here and aren't familiar with this band, it's got a real throwback Dead Boys, New York Dolls, that like late 70s like party punk. There's some Stooges and MC5 kind of vibes. The singer Maddie is great at that, like getting the crowd going. Like, he works up a crowd like no other motherfucker I've seen. It's just, he's insane. He gets a crowd going like nothing, and it's just like a second nature to him. Chloe, his girlfriend, on guitar. Definitely, they play off of each other very well on stage. It's very entertaining. My buddy Marco on bass. All the guys in this band fucking hold it down phenomenally. And I've been into Maddie's music for a while. He had a couple of other bands in the past. Haunch had a very heavy, kind of slow, bluesy, kind of pub rock vibe to it, and they were a lot of fun. And he had another band called Fever Dreams. Really like them. More of like an anthemic kind of like early 90s, a little bit of Pearl Jam, a little bit of like Red Hot Chili Peppers kind of like delivery to it, but still in that very like, you know, an MC5, just get the crowd going, kind of hype machine kind of band. A little bit of Dictators in this as well. You got that great like early punk rock kind of vibe. A lot of Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers kind of to the melodies and the sing-along choruses, and I just love some of this, you know, On the Chain is just like the song, you know, every time you see them, that's like the centerpiece of their set. Hound Howl is really good, Damned and Doomed, Sonic Love, Shock Collar is a beast, like this whole thing just slaps. It's so fucking good, and you can tell why this band is like the hyped up band in New Haven, in Connecticut right now. Just any time they put on a show, it's an event, it's a party. You're gonna have a good fucking time. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Killer Kin yet, go see them live. And if you don't have this record, definitely pick it up. Check it out on Spotify and everything. Support this band though, because they are solid people and they're putting out amazing fucking tunes. And this is definitely one of my favorites of the year so far. Another great release, very new, just brand new. I think it's not even 2 weeks old yet. Jay was playing this on the, you know, stereo when I was shopping around in there, and I'm like, oh, I gotta pick this up. This is fantastic. And this is a band I haven't really paid attention to in a while, but I've always liked their style. It almost is kind of like they have that heavy, like, it's got like some New York hardcore vibes, you know, more so in the like Marauder, Killing Time kind of vibes, but it melds it very well with metallic hardcore of like the 90s. It's a heavy amount of like those early Converge style like Panic riffs. There's a bit of botch that I hear in this. There's a hell of a lot of great like throwbacks to like Earth Crisis style riffs and that more Syracuse kind of vibe going on. That's Incendiary's new album. Change the way you think about pain. And this thing is fierce. Like, this has so many burners on it. It's pretty quick too. I think it's only like 20 something minutes. And yeah, this just smokes. I need to spend a little bit more time with it, but from what I've heard from it so far, it just crushes. And I've seen this band a couple of times. They definitely blow the roof off fucking live. They're solid. They've been at it for a while. I believe they started probably in like the mid 2010s. So they've been at it for quite a while. I've really been into them. Kind of lost track of them for a while, like I said. But yeah, I'm really happy I got into this. Great, like, New York hardcore. Very metallic. I love this smoke color vinyl. Definitely great. Check out Incendiary if you like all the bands that I mentioned before. They even fit in with some of the more melodic stuff from the early 2000s, like a little bit of like a Comeback Kid kind of vibe to it as well. But yeah, very heavily influenced by that great 90s early metallic hardcore kind of stuff. Excellent stuff. And that'll about do it. Want to do a quick one today. I don't have a ton to talk about. I remember I haven't shown off like records in a couple of weeks, so I really wanted to talk about those. Got more material coming all the time. Got a couple of ideas in the back of my head for stuff to do. So yeah, if you want to evolve on what I've talked about here, go down in the comments. Like, subscribe, do all that great stuff. Loving the attention that the last week of videos have been getting. I've been getting great numbers, been getting great responses. People are getting into it, and I appreciate every single fucking one of you. hitting 90 subscribers recently has been so cool. I'm in no rush to get to 100, but when I get there, just know I appreciate every single one of you who come back and watch all these videos and like and comment and say all this cool shit, make all these recommendations. You are the community and you are killing it, and that's why I love doing these videos, and that's why I'm going to keep on doing them. So yeah, my name is Mike Manzer. This has been a Manzer Faust Productions video. Stay fucking metal.